Welcome to episode 459 of the Nintendo Powercast and the beginning of season 7. We have a full house, some returning faces and some of the usuals. And I'm really excited to be here and chat with you guys. We're going to start with some introductions, but before we do, I got two announcements. One, I have a new segment that is going to be coming to NPC, and it's been something I've been thinking about a long time. And it's been something that, like, I think about just gaming as a whole. Like, what is the draw? Like, what is the draw? Why, after so long? And
Helldivers is the draw.
It's the draw, yes. But what is it? What is it about the plumber, right? Mario in particular, that, like, what am I so drawn to? And it dawned on me that even, you know, I didn't have the roughest, like, childhood, you know, like, but still everybody has those moments, right? In gaming, I always felt the absolute safest. I always felt like I was just me. I could just do what I wanted. But a lot of us have these stories of, like, gaming kind of got us through darkness. And so I'm going to do a segment. It's not going to necessarily be every week, but I'm going to start opening it up. I'm going to interview any of you guys on the panel here, like one-on-one, but the segment's going to be called Gaming in the Dark, and just looking back at, like, you know, maybe some of those, like, real moments that were like, yo, I could hear my parents going through their divorce, and, like, beating Mario 3 is what, like, kept me sane, you know, and just kind of diving into some of those stories that got some meaning to them, you know, and some depth to them. So want to start that. The other thing is, I finished today mastering the art of podcasting. And so I have a book. And you can go to n64josh.com/master podcast. And for the first week, it's going to be half price. It's $9.99. It is everything I've learned over the last 13 years about podcasting and content creation, from getting the show started, how to promote the show. It's literally everything. And I put a lot of love into this thing, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna announce it at the beginning of the 7th season. So if you want to check that out again, n64josh.com/master podcast, and hopefully you love it as much as I did making it, because it was a lot of fun. So now we got some guests. I'm just gonna start in order. Captain Logan was a fill-in often, and is also the host of Keelhauled, which is celebrating its start of its 6th season, which is a Sea of what's the
you got it
Sea of Thieves, there it is, okay. Podcast, and that game just got some exciting news. Everybody thinks it's coming to Switch 2. Captain Logan, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. It's crazy to be back after so long. I mean, this show was how I got into podcasting. So it's kind of cool to have, like, this moment to come back for the 7th season and be like, yeah, I just remember being a fan and just being like, hey man, if you ever need any help, you know, I could help out for a bit. And then you helped me get, like, some recommendations on microphones and stuff. And I just kind of went from there and started reading your first book when you put it out, and just kind of going off on my own little world, found Sea of Thieves and got really passionate about that. And if it wasn't for this show and for Nintendo, I probably wouldn't be doing this thing. So thank you for one, but it's awesome to be back.
So good to have you. The original co-host of the Nintendo Powercast, all the way back to episode 1. Brian, aka Destinat, who I used to drive absolutely insane on a weekly basis, and I would make him do 2 shows with me every Thursday night. We would do a Destiny show, and then we would do a Nintendo show. And you guys, you can't even. You have to go to the loot cave on YouTube to find the original NPC episodes, because they're not even on, like, N64 Josh or the NPC channel. They go all the way back to that. You can't find them anywhere but there. And so welcome back, my friend. Good to see you.
Yeah, I got a letter from MPC Corporate that said we need to diversify the podcast. So I was kind of court ordered. That's why I'm here.
Well,
I was told if you had 60 more of the current hosts, you could make one whole Cherokee. So yeah, that's why I'm here. No, it's good to be back.
so good to have you. Crawler, what's up, baby?
Hey, how's it going, Carl? Coming at you.
Johnny, how are you, man?
What's up? I'm broke again.
Oh, on your platinum points? I was spending points
Yeah.
last night too. Yeah. And if you want a scrunchie for all your hair, you can get one now for. Or no, that's a pre-order thing. What is it? Stickers? It's stickers.
That's
What are you-
stickers, yeah.
Stickers that were 400 points today, and then they dropped them down to 300. So you can be more poor. I need to probably play some Fire Emblem Heroes.
Cheesy, what's going on?
What's going on, cheese curds?
Well, we got to do a little introduction just for you guys and what you're up to. Crawler, where can people connect with you?
Best spots are TikTok and Twitter, Nightcrawler724, Nightcrawlers without the E. Yeah. And confirmed Nintendo fanboy right down there.
The biggest Nintendo fanboy I've ever seen in my entire life.
I mean, the audio listeners have no idea who you're pointing to, so
We're Brady Bunching right now, so I'm looking down at you.
Well, okay. Cheesy, where can people connect with you?
You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, Communication Error Podcast, CheezyC64, CheezyC64.
Hey, look at that. You slowed it down this time.
I did, yeah, I'm learning.
Johnny, how about you, buddy?
I'm Johnny Bo everywhere: Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and the Communication Error Podcast, where we learn that Cheesy is the biggest Nintendo fanboy.
All right, you know what?
to
I
ever
don't.
exist. He really so. We have a Sea of Thieves enthusiast here. He really wants Sea of Thieves to come to Nintendo, but he never wants to see a Nintendo game
This is the
go anywhere
wrong
near
podcast.
Xbox.
No, everyone needs to go listen to the episode and actually hear what I'm saying because Johnny is just twisting my words.
But that's literally what you said.
No,
Do
go
you,
listen to it.
do you want Nintendo? Do you care if Nintendo puts content on other
All right,
platforms?
here's the thing.
Yes, he does. Whatever he says right now is a lie because
No.
he does.
No,
Let the corporate shield talk. They won't appreciate. They won't really appreciate what it is, and yeah.
yeah, see, Crawler gets it. The TLDR is like,
He was being sarcastic.
I would appreciate getting it for free on Game Pass.
Yeah, and so we got a comment, and they did not like my opinion, which is
That's nothing new.
not surprising. But they said something about like, "Oh, what do you mean Tears of the Kingdom doesn't run well?" Like, have you played that game? That game doesn't run well at all. It would run much better on an Xbox.
it may run better, but I don't think it runs worse. This is not the podcast for this. You're trying to steal Josh's thunder.
Sorry, yeah.
Captain Logan, where can people connect with you?
I am still one of the dumb holdouts over on X, but I'm also over on Threads, and it's about as much time as I have to be over there. So if you want to get information about Sea of Thieves, especially if it does actually come to the next Switch, you can hit me up over there at CAPT_LOGUN, or just search for Captain Logan or the Keelhauled Podcast, and or just Sea of Thieves podcast. You'll probably find mine because I'm one of the crazies out there actually doing it.
And Brian, besides what's the Christian mingle? Where else can people connect with you?
Farmers only.
Yeah, Farmers Only,
Yeah.
which I'm super excited for that show that I sent you. I think it's called Farmer Finds a Wife.
Yeah, it's on in
the
an
first
hour and
thing
10 minutes. We gotta hurry.
The first thing I Hasn't thought that of was been you. a I'm like, thing? did they literally take Farmers Only and create a bachelor style show?
They did.
Josh,
yeah,
did you think about applying to that once upon a time?
I mean, no.
No.
Any place people can connect with you, Brian, besides the dating sites?
Various forms of media. You can either find me under Brian or
Destinaut or Filthy Casual Gamer or Wind Waker 2024. Thick and Quick.
How many
Not
accounts do you
what you
have
think.
in the Discord then? At this
Look up
point?
Thick and Quick on Instagram. It's Yarn. That's complete waste of that handle. Akimbo Trout, sorry to hate for thinking you think that was a young girl whose feelings you hurt in the Discord. I think that's it. Oh, Vantakuro and that's probably
All
How
the
many
many
burner
names.
emails do you have then for all these accounts?
I don't want to talk about it. The government might be listening.
Okay.
Guys, of course, you can connect with me everywhere at N64Josh. And there is Hate Zero in the chat who wasn't able to make it, but we are gonna do an episode to get him back on, because as soon as I posted some returning hosts, I had a couple people tweet at me like, Hate Zero, my hero. So Hate said
People's hero.
my gaming in the dark story. My dad had just died, and I was looking for a way as a kind of escape, but also somewhat comfort food about a month after he passed, and it was Metal Gear Solid. Said Twin Snakes came out on GameCube, and it allowed me to get lost in gaming again. Yeah, it was during that time that I connected with Hate, and it was we didn't know what happened to him for a little while. And then he came back, and it was good. We've been friends ever since. This goes all the way back to Rainbow Six 3 on the when Xbox Live was in its infancy. So
Yelling at your guys to breach and clear. To the
I
mic.
was the only person to ever die from a flashbang in that game. Like, so that was
Still runs better than Breath of the Wild.
Here we go. The salt is real. He just takes a sip. I love it. Well, hey, we miss you as well. Thank you for being in chat, brother. We appreciate you. And yeah, so we had
buckle up, because it's probably going to be a long show tonight.
it's gonna be long, and we've got a lot to talk about with a partner direct. I'm sure it's gonna be spicy. I already saw some comments from Wind Waker 2024. What's the deal? Like, is that who you're voting for this year? Is that what?
It's a funny story, real quick. I committed myself to beating that game, Wind Waker, this year, because I've started and stopped that game a million times. I've even went as far as downloading like a 4K texture pack that
Just wait until it comes to Switch.
unzip.
You know?
I've already fallen off. I've beaten ODST, and I'm halfway through Reach right now. So I probably won't finish it this year. We might have to change my name to Wind Waker 2025.
Got it. Okay. All right. Fair. Well, speaking of games that have been completed, guys, Pikmin 3 done. Okay, done. I picked
Did
it
you
up.
get the gold bar?
Listen, I got credits. That's my
It's
gold
credits.
bar.
That's what
is all that
counts
matters.
here.
Like, yeah.
Gold bar, you just got to go grind in a dungeon for a little bit and farm purple Pikmin, which is tedious.
The amount. Wait, there's purple ones in that game.
Oh my god! How did you beat the game without getting purple Pikmin?
Are they the ones that fly? Aren't they pink?
Oh, sorry. No, purple are the ones that lift heavy, right? Pink fly. Purple are the
Yeah, pink
ones
fly.
that can...
Purple are the heavy ones.
You need 100 purple to pick up, because the gold bar needs 1,000 Pikmin strength.
Wait,
No, I don't-
didn't
I
you
don't-
beat Pikmin 4? Like, wasn't that?
No, I haven't beat Pikmin 4. I beat Pikmin 3.
Oh my god. Okay, never mind. You're a game behind us, Saul.
I didn't want to. So I was almost through Pikmin 3, so I'm like, I'm completing it. I did it. I beat it. I posted it in Discord. You guys ignored me. You didn't even say congrats on completing something. So that was nice. Thanks guys. And then so I picked up Pikmin 1 and 2 physical. Haven't opened it yet. I did pick up Mario versus Donkey Kong. Rolled credits already.
Yep,
All right.
That doesn't count. That one doesn't count.
Come on.
I think
you can't.
Johnny beat it. Cheesy, you were on the final boss. Did you beat it last night?
No, I got
No, because side order came out.
yeah.
'Cause
I
you
got sidetracked
suck.
with side
You
order.
suck at that game. That's why.
Oh, man, is there like a
Captain,
muzzle
I'm
we
gonna
could put on
remind
him? Or?
Either you pick up Mario vs. Donkey Kong. It's a waste of $50 if you did. So
Yeah, Josh.
I
What
don't
did
know
you
why I'm
say?
I don't know why I'm on this podcast. I haven't played a Nintendo game in like 3 years.
Josh, what did you say in that message when you said you beat, or when you got the other games? What'd you say?
Oh, he got everybody 1-2 Switch.
Yeah, look.
Is it sealed? Leave it sealed. It'll probably
Not
be
only
worth
is it
more.
sealed,
Yeah, but
it has the sticker on it that says 1650, right? Like the best deal ever for this game.
Wait,
Not
hold
opening that.
Well-
Yeah, you pretty much said that Nintendo's ripping us off with these prices.
Hey, what? Don't out me on the Nintendo Powercast. Come on. No, I mean, it is like, I've not heard anybody that has played Mario versus Donkey Kong be like, yo, I'm really glad I spent $50 on this. You know, like it does seem a little bit steep. Like Crawler posted that the new Mickey game, that's a Wii game, right? Isn't that what that remake is?
That's not even a 2-pack of the. It's not even. They're not even doing.
It's
both
only
the-
one of them.
It's only one of them, and they're charging $60 for it.
Yeah. Well, that's a Disney and a Nintendo tax on that one. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is a lot of tax. So
How much is
Go
Grounded?
play it on Xbox. It's on Xbox. Go play it on Xbox.
is Grounded free to play? Because it's on
No,
Game
it's not.
Pass.
It's on.
so-
Oh no, I'm sure they're gonna charge on Switch.
Well,
It's
I
like
wasn't sure if
40.
it was games as a service. I wasn't sure if it had like a
It
battle
is,
pass and stuff.
but I'm sure they'll.
What?
It's both. Everything's both now. You gotta pay $60 for the game. Well, 70 now, and there's microtransactions on top.
See, Elden Ring
It's
has
$100.
$40 DLC.
Or 225, however you want to slice it.
Is that skins only? Or do you
No,
actually
it's
get like
like-
levels?
No, that's the collector's edition.
Oh.
So
Just
Unless that
kidding.
collector's edition looks like this bad boy right here, I don't want it.
Grounded, as far as I know, is $40 on Xbox, and I've never heard of anything coming to them for like a games as a service scenario. It's pretty straightforward. They just made the one bit of it, and then they're just like, have fun. And they've been doing some free updates since.
I don't buy games on Xbox anymore. I got burned. I spent $100 on Diablo, and now it's going to be free next month, and I'm upset about that. So I'll just wait for everything to be free
You're
on
technically
Xbox.
paying for it, Crawler.
I know, but it's $16.50 that gets pulled out of my account, and I don't see it. I don't click yes every month. So
How much time have you spent in Diablo though?
not enough, not at all, because it was like everyone started bad mouthing it that your character didn't roll over to the next season or something like that, or.
But that's the point. The point
every
is you
Diablo
just
game. I know.
start over. And
I
every
know.
season, I mean,
I played a little bit, but I felt like I was repeating so much because I had played both betas, and then
Did you get Diablo 3 on Switch?
yeah, I did because
Did
I
you
could
play
be
the
I
seasons
could
in that?
dress up like Ganondorf. I followed around like what's his name in Adventure Time, just picking up loot because who's the listener that would go do stuff for us, Josh? we would just follow around like the character in Adventure Time, just picking up loot, just like they just walked through with the staff that just killed everything, and we just walked behind and leveled up. That's how we did it.
Yep. King Raymar from the chat here says you should be on your knees thanking the Big N that the new release with Mario in the title was only $50. So
Isn't that exactly what you
Take that
said in our
context.
chat, Josh? That it's a Mario title, or was that somebody in regular Discord? I don't even remember anymore.
probably it was probably regular Discord, but I mean it is. I will say the highlight of that game is when you leave the mini Marios behind and they're like, oh, like. And they're just calling for you. I was like, okay.
Oh,
those
that
guys
took
are-
me a while to figure out that I had to like run away from them really quick and make them off screen, and they would stop moving for that
Okay.
last little lemmings level. But
Yeah.
I will say the expert stuff, like the extra, it's not expert because expert is what you unlock after you beat the game, but the extra stuff, the new stuff, is the extra stuff new too? I don't even know.
It's all new to me. So like,
I know
that's-
because I didn't play it on advance either, but like you can tell that the extra levels were like designed a little bit better more recently.
One of the things for me about that game that like I kind of really liked is it does feel like a continuation of OG Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., right? Down to like the sound effects, that some of the music has been like reworked and remastered and changed and stuff, and like I was
The ladders, the hammers,
and I cracked up when like I was climbing the chains, you know, and you can go fast by grabbing 2 chains just like in Donkey Kong Jr. But then there's certain creatures that are moving, and if you grab their tail, they just stop. Like they can't do anything. They're just like, yo, I'm just chilling now. So
Cheese and I were talking about that last night. Like they didn't tutorial that at all. That was the one thing I had to look up in that game, because there's the level where the 2 of them are going back and forth up top. I knew what I needed to do. I knew I needed to separate them, but they didn't do any kind of. I was just playing around on that switch trying to stop them at a certain point, and it was, yeah, that was frustrating. And then the very end with Donkey Kong, it's too delayed for that barrel to come out for you to understand what you need to do after you unlock the toads. Like you're all the way at the top, and I just got smacked by Donkey Kong like 2 or 3 times because I'm like, what am I supposed to go jump on him or just land on his platform like you do in original Donkey Kong? And he just smacks you, and you have to go all the way back down to the bottom, get a barrel, and then carry it all the way back up.
Nate just said, is it just me, or does it feel weird to hear Josh talking about playing games? Season 7, baby. Season 7 of NPC. I have all 4 sages in Tears of the Kingdom, you guys.
Oh, wow. You going to beat Xenoblade here in a little bit then, too?
I mean, I literally pulled out a stack of games that I'm like, it's not my whole backlog, but it's the games I want to try to complete. And so, you know, I'll dwindle it down, but it's probably 2 feet. Like,
well, you have time since Switch 2 is not coming out till 2025 now. So
yeah.
Great. You just set off Johnny Bo. That's going to be
No, he's the one that shot down Cheesy's hopes this week.
With what?
Oh.
He pretty much said confirmed. It's coming out next year, and you were like, who confirmed it? And he said I did.
Yeah, I confirmed it.
Yeah, Johnny's a great source. That's where we want all our news to come from.
It's not confirmed until Nintendo says so.
See, that was a good impression of me.
There were 1,000 people on YouTube that said something big was coming during this direct, and I was let down. I thought
what do you
Switch 2
mean?
was one of
Star
them.
Wars
And
Battlefront 1 and 2. 64 players.
Star Wars
No, 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 no,
Battlefront
you gotta
probably
start
was
with
the
Endless Ocean,
original.
one more thing, you know.
1 and 2. What are those Xbox games? They're probably already on Xbox Game Pass. I can get them for free.
Yeah, they're original. They're both original Xbox games, I think, right?
I thought you guys were talking about Unicorn Overlord.
That game does look
Overlord.
sick.
I downloaded that demo. I haven't played it yet.
It does look good. It does look good.
It kind of looks like a Flash game. Just saying.
It a little bit, yeah, like kind of
Kids
some
don't know
mobile.
what Flash is.
Yeah. 40-year-old.
We used to go to these websites and we'd play games, and oh man,
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Oh, Nate, I am not putting that in the. I
is
know
that a
you-
typo?
It says I've been stuck on Penny's Big Breakaway. It's great, and and then Contra sucks, but it is a typo that's not family friendly. So we're gonna it's spelled correctly, but
go to the Twitch VOD and you can go see it.
yeah.
Timestamp is 24 minutes.
Love that AI learning autocorrect, man.
Yeah,
Just
so
knows
great.
what I'm thinking all the time.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's dive into the direct a little bit more. Captain Logan, I'm going to have you kick us off. Like I know you watched it. You anything jump out to you? Anything got you excited, or was it a big letdown?
I was happy about the Star Wars news. I was obviously, I kind of figured that they would probably be bringing some stuff to like the online to see like the rare stuff come there was pretty cool. It's a good throwback. I was really surprised that they announced Grounded this early, and I was really surprised about Hi-Fi Rush, the Disney Epic Mickey. Well, it's coming, right?
Switch 2.
Switch 2.
It'll. I think it'll come over. I don't think it'll be on PlayStation forever, or just on PlayStation, Xbox, and stuff. But Disney Epic Mickey being redone is really cool. I was really looking forward to that. That game felt like it was lost of time.
Up for $60.
Yeah, why not? Where do you got it right now? How much did you pay for it?
I don't know. I think you can get it on Xbox for probably $15 or $20.
The remaster?
Not the remaster.
Well
but
then, sit down. Get out.
I don't think
Anyway.
remasters should cost more than the original product.
Did it cost more than the original?
it would have been 50 because it was
It
a
would have
Wii
been
title.
50.
Mm.
What is it with inflation though?
80 probably.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yo.
Josh put in newspaper clippings of what JCPenney ads or something like that for
Toys R Us, I think from Canada
No,
and
$90 games. Oh, if
Yo.
that's Canadian, then that was
X. I don't even know. I just was like, oh, it popped
They
up on
were
my
expensive
feed
back in
somewhere.
the
I was
day.
like, I'm just gonna throw it in, and the
These aren't
people on X were
photoshopped.
not happy.
The cartridges. Cartridges
you-
were like $70 like in the 80s.
You know what the thing was about that though? The thing that never gets brought up is the fact that those consoles only had like 100 or like 150 games for the whole freaking thing. We have that many coming out in like a month per console. So
Right.
it's like, what was $90 back then? Yeah, that was a lot. But at the same time, there was like one that you would get per quarter. And then you bought that one and you had it for like a year.
birthday and Christmas.
Yeah. I don't know. But overall, Super Monkey Ball, really awesome. Disney, the Mickey game was really awesome. It was really cool to see Grounded. Excited about the online games that are coming from Rare. Blast Core, definitely want to check that out. I can never remember how to say it, but the Tales of Kenzera, I think is how you pronounce it. That one's going to be really good. Definitely check that out. But overall, I mean, they had a little bit of everything for everyone. I think that they still had like some JRPG stuff. There's still some action stuff in there, some platformer stuff in there. So while there wasn't like, I don't know, anything like major standout that I think people maybe were hoping for, I thought it was still a really solid direct, man. Still felt really good, especially Pocket Card Jockey. That's a fun game from locked
I
on
already downloaded
3DS.
that one.
Like that's good to get back on Switch. But yeah, it was good. I liked it.
Brian, I know this direct had to have brought you back into the Nintendo ecosystem, and like the biggest dust storm ever took place as you wiped the dust from your Switch, who'd been sitting lonely for the last 3 years.
Actually, I was trying to get the golden wheels on Mario Kart, but that gets very hard very quickly. And I was like, I'm done with this. I'm playing Wind Waker now. And then I fell off of that. And then I'll come back to it.
Went to Halo.
Yeah, and then I'm fourth of the way through the Halo multi-campaign. No, it was good to see. I already knew ahead of time. Like when they said it's a partners direct, I'm like, okay.
Mhm.
I don't expect to see Mario or hear anything about Metroid. I guess the closest thing I thought I would get to a Mario game, but I think they're postponing it, is the Ubisoft Rabbids.
Yep.
Because I think I heard something about like they're gonna do another one, but they're gonna wait. But no, there's I'm a huge fan of Sword Art Online, so I'm excited to see another one of those games come out. That I'll wait till it comes out to Steam to watch the reviews and then not buy it. I'm excited for I can't remember the name. It's that underwater game that was at the very end. I'm not
Endless
excited to
Ocean.
buy it for myself.
Endless Ocean.
My 11-year-old nephew loves the ocean and will tell you everything there is to know about every aquatic animal known to man at any second of the day, whether you want to hear about it or not. So I can't wait for that to come out so I can shove it in his face and then go do what I want to do.
But you can play 16 players online with that or whatever.
Was it 16? I thought it was more. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of those type of selling points because it's like you're going to jump into a game and it's going to be one of those things where you're like, I've been swimming for 45 minutes and I see one dude named, Nadine or something like that. And then he just swims in the opposite direction and then you don't see anyone else for another, 4 hours.
We're going to start the Endless podcast, and we're only going to play that game while we record.
There's
Until you
500
find the
creatures you
mystical
can discover.
It's like Pokemon without the
Fun.
or guns. Oh wait, that's not Pokemon.
Crawler, what'd you think of the partner direct?
I mean, I was driving. I had to drive to a meeting that was like an hour away, so I was in my car, not watching YouTube. But how about like the fact that it was not live? It was just.
You know, a lot of people say the best.
It was just released. Like I was like queuing it up, trying to find like the normal Nintendo live thing going, and it was just a video that just had a scheduled drop at 7 a.m. my time. And I mean, I feel like they don't do that very often anymore, if they do. So I mean that threw me off a little bit, that you could just, if you wanted, you could just fast forward through it, I guess. But yeah, and then as I was driving, I was just like thinking and counting in my head the remakes that were just, it's just the year of remakes right now. And we didn't get Hunters. We didn't get
the show. That's the one that surprised me the most. Like they didn't mention the show, which is like,
Because they don't want to show that.
Well, that'll be
You know how
that'll
bad
be
the
a-
show looks on the Switch.
That'll be a tweet in April. I mean,
in the episode I did prior to the direct launching, I was like, I really think we're going to see Sony and Xbox on the Nintendo console in the same direct, because of, but yeah, I figured partners would at least a CGI trailer of the show, not actual gameplay.
yeah. I mean, Monster Hunter Stories, I think that's kind of a cool thing that they're getting that all on the same kind of platform, because that was 3DS only, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's nice that we're getting some stuff brought. Like they're definitely just trying to bring everything to the Switch, but I don't know. The one nice thing that I was hearing from a lot of the announcements was more talk of like either competitive or cooperative online at the same time, which it only took us 7 years to get there.
Yeah, online was mentioned more in this direct than in any other direct we've had. It seems like.
I mean, Monkey Ball is going to have it. Suika Game is going to have it coming soon.
Yeah, it looks like June based on the eShop. Or maybe it's May. I think it's May.
Who knows if 64 players will actually work on the Switch when it comes to Battlefront. I would assume that's going to probably lean into like Fortnite tech and just let it be crossplay across everything. But I don't know. Who's developing that and putting it out?
It's Asper's the name on it, I believe.
Okay.
It's not Pandemic, I'll tell you that much.
They went under probably a while ago, right?
Yeah. I think it was one of those like things where they were gonna put out the next game, and then whoever the studio was like, we're canceling that. Okay, we got that other game though. Like, no, we're canceling that one too. And they're like, so we got nothing. Thank you. Yeah, people weren't.
Who owns the unfinished or the dev copy of Rogue Squadron 3? Like, that's what I want to know.
4?
So
Is it 4?
that?
Oh, they did have a second one come out on GameCube, huh?
Yeah, there was a 2 on GameCube. There was a third one that was supposedly done.
Yeah, it's
Right.
done on a Wii dev kit.
From what I understand, Factor 5 says like Lucasfilm owes them money, and then Lucasfilm says they owe them something. So it's like, I think if it gets released, it's one of those things where you got to start paying a lot of people a lot of money, because even old Factor 5 employees have said like Factor 5 owes them money because they were unpaid for whatever.
Ooh,
It would be an expensive game probably to release.
not a
But
good
maybe they
look.
can remake it with another studio and it'll be fine. It'll come out on Switch at the end of the year.
If only there was like a company that made consoles that like was actually making money off of their hardware and software that could save us from
If
such
only. If only.
Pay out the people that need to be paid.
The Ouya?
That one's I have that collecting dust upstairs.
talking about Stadia. God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, yeah.
Johnny,
Johnny.
how's that Stadia treating you, Johnny?
Oh, I do have the. We actually talked to somebody that was like a hardcore Stadia fan, but I do have the Stadia controller still, and I got refunded. They refunded everybody. Like whatever you spent on Stadia, they gave you your money back.
All that Google money.
Yeah.
Josh, you were looking for guests for your show about talking about dark times while gaming. Stadia right there.
Stadia. So, Johnny, how much did you love the partner direct?
It sucked. No, I'm just. But like listening to the other people talk about it, every game that is slightly exciting is a remake or a port. So like Grounded, the Battlefront games, the Rare games, they're all ports. They did show new games in there.
Oh, South Park.
And I kind of think there were more new games than there were remakes.
But nobody
and ports.
cares about them.
Nobody cares about the new games? Is that what you're saying?
Anybody mention a new game here?
I don't understand
Anybody
you,
mention
man.
a new game?
You are always complaining that you want new games, but you don't want remakes.
Well-
but then when there are new games, oh, you don't care about them. You don't want to play them. Like, what do you like? You just like Mario and Zelda, but you're not going to get that in this direct. That is not what this direct was for.
Games? There's another Crab's Treasure.
Another Crab's Treasure, Pepper Grinder. The Arranger game looks really cool. There's South Park Snow Day, the Endless Ocean, the Snow Day. Yeah,
N64 remake, isn't it? Wasn't
No.
they playing in the snow?
It looks like it, but it's a new game.
All right.
yeah.
I'll give him that.
But nobody here has mentioned a new game that they're excited for. So I think my point is proven.
Captain Logan mentioned it.
What one?
Monkey Ball.
Well, is the Contra one a remake or is it a new game? I know that it's not very like a super different concept from Contra game to Contra game, but I mean, is that new?
I am excited for I do like Monkey Ball. Monkey Ball is a fun game.
Snow Day is gonna be fun. I think Snow Day is gonna be really good. I think the Monkey Ball game is gonna be like classic. I mean, that was a banger on a GameCube, man.
Is the Shin Megami Tensei is that DLC or is that
It's like Persona 5 Royal.
Okay.
It's like Persona 5.
They didn't do a good job describing what that was.
And now that's going to be on other platforms.
That's like the series in general, though.
Yeah, well, that's Atlas in general, right?
It's Atlas. How could a company with such a simple name have such a complex series of games that no one can actually understand? Their name is Atlas. I get it. It's a globe. What are their games?
Yes.
I thought it was weird that Phil Spencer said, "Oh, we don't want to announce the games that are coming because we want them to have their
time
day.
to shine." I think,
and then Pentiment shows up in a sizzle reel for a split second, and it was coming out
with
the day after the direct. Like,
I was driving. I looked down and I was like, "Oh, that looks like Pentiment. I wonder if that's it." I didn't even know. Like they didn't say anything.
It came out today or like yesterday. Like, why would they do that?
But not only that, Johnny, they mentioned that Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush is going to be on PlayStation through a tweet. And I was like, I thought you were wanting to give these games their time in the spotlight.
I'm just going to say it out there. Sea of Thieves put out 2 videos covering the announcement, and they had all of their head executive people from the studio talking about how excited they were to announce it for PS5.
All right.
Did they say that they were bringing it to Nintendo platforms?
No, they said that they were just bringing it to PlayStation platforms.
Because
That's a Switch. Those are Switch
NDA
2
right
games. Those are Switch 2 games.
Well, Xbox knew that if they mentioned Sea of Thieves coming to PS5, that Jeff Keighley would finally talk about an Xbox game. And so
they're saving it for the awards next year. Is that what you're saying?
No, he tweeted about it. He tweeted about it, and the Xbox fan base is like, they literally laid into him. Like, oh, you're finally talking about an Xbox. I was just like, Twitter is a wild place. Like,
it's dangerous.
It's crazy. So,
have you guys heard of Skull and Bones? Have you ever heard of that game?
Isn't that like the Sheen version of Sea of Thieves?
No.
Yeah, no, I was just
Tell us about it, Ubisoft partner Johnny.
Is it the Timu?
Let me tell you about something.
I have Twitch drops that I'm not going to use. But play Sea of Thieves over Skull and Bones.
Cheesy. corporate shill fanboy, I guess. That's
I guess that's what they're calling me these days.
Yeah. What'd you think of the partner direct?
Well, I guess this doesn't help, but I actually thought it was pretty solid. I thought it was a good partner.
Boo.
I thought it was a good partner showcase. I thought the pacing was actually really good. And so if that's like something that we see moving forward with just like regular Nintendo Directs, that should help with the pacing of the shows. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I was kind of surprised by some of the games that they were dropping. The Epic Mickey one, that was so cool because I love that game. So just to see that being remade is awesome. Pocket Card Jockey is such a great game, and I hope there's more people that are playing it.
Wow, now you're a Game Freak shill? Jeez.
I don't know what I'm legally allowed to do on this show. I mean, it's not like I can just like punch him through the screen or anything, but Josh, you just let me know.
You're good. It was the slow blink after he spoke for me that you just like you just gave one slow blink and then kept going.
And I actually think Endless Ocean looks pretty fun. Like, even though it's going to be a very cozy, chill game, depending on the people that you have, and like, I don't know, if you go looking for different kinds of fish, or my wife Hannah is super into sharks, so I think she would really enjoy just like seeing sharks out in this big open game.
You were talking about another Crab's Treasure last night too.
Oh, I'm so excited for another Crab's Treasure. I think that looks great. I guess Penny's Big Breakaway is also really fun. I haven't tried it out yet, but I don't know. I was pretty surprised by it, and I know that on this show we've said that it seems like it's going to be a slow year, although it's only February, so I don't know why.
It's almost March. It's almost March.
Okay, so what does that mean, Johnny? You're the accountant. How many more months are there in the year?
I love this optimism that's just gonna. You're definitely a Nintendo fanboy. You're setting yourself up for disappointment.
I don't think I am, man. They have released games within like 2 months of them announcing them that are just been surprises.
We're not going to get a Mario Wonder this year or whatever.
You can get a hair scrunchie at Walmart though if you pre-order Princess Peach.
So anyway, I mean, I think for the most part, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was better than what I was expecting it to be. Kind of like what you said, Josh, is that you just had really low expectations, and I guess I wasn't sure what to expect from it, and it made the direct that much better for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, there wasn't a ton that I was like, oh, that's for me. But I've already played Killer Instinct. I've already played RC Pro-Am. My biggest question is what is this deal structured with between Xbox and Nintendo? Like, is Xbox getting a cut out of Nintendo Switch Online? Is Nintendo saying, hey, we're going to allow you to put your games on our system, but you're going to give us rare titles so we can sell more online?
They're probably giving them
they
like
have to play them a publisher fee.
I mean,
that, a check.
That relationship's already been built for at least a good year or so at this point. We had GoldenEye kind of in the works since 2022, I would say, when we started to see achievements pop for it on like True Achievements. So, I mean, the relationship between Nintendo and Xbox, I think, is stronger than ever. And the fact that Xbox is bringing content over to the Switch is just them looking to do a few things. They're trying to keep the cost of games actually down by not raising the price of how much they are. They're not trying to lay off any more people than it's like absolutely necessary. And they're not trying to raise the price of Game Pass, but they got to keep Game Pass for Xbox because that's their ecosystem. So making a sweetheart deal with Nintendo now is the perfect opportunity for them to say like, hey, we've saturated our player base with these games. Let's bring them over to Switch because I think the community would do really well with Grounded. I think Grounded is a fantastic game for Switch. I think the community is actually going to really love just how much fun that game is. And, you know, Pentiment is just, it's a good game, but it's a very niche game. So opening that up to that is just going to be nice. I think as far as the deal goes, I think they're just going to get their 30% and call it good.
It's just so like, because they're not paid games, right? As far as the Nintendo Switch Online games, that's what throws me. It's like there's not like they can't just throw up a contract and they're like, yo, we're going to take this percentage of each sale. It's like, no, they're just part of the Nintendo Switch Online ecosystem. So I would just love to be a fly on the wall to see how that worked out. And I mean, like you were talking, the deal with the relationship with Nintendo and Xbox, it goes back. Like the DS has Diddy Kong Racing, right? Like Viva Pinata. So I mean, they've still kind of been a developer for Nintendo for many years, really. Like, you know, since Microsoft bought them. So it's just it's great for us, you know. Like, I kind of want to go back. I used to be really good at Killer Instinct, and I got my Super Nintendo controller. I want to see if I can relearn Fulgore and see if I can pull off some of those ultra combos and stuff. Because that was, it was just I fired up RC Pro and I was like, yo, I just hear my childhood right now, you know. and I think so. I know nothing about Endless Ocean when everything started to leak, which that's a whole conversation in and of itself. Like, there's somebody literally getting insider information, like there was so much information already out there about this direct that it's like, I hope they figure out where this is coming from and kind of put a stop to it, because it kind of takes a
door on a submarine.
Yeah, it's just it kind of takes a little bit of the fun out of it, but like, it looks like, so is Endless Ocean, do you guys know, I've got it up on Google right now. It looks like this is it the third game in this series?
Yes, because I think it was for Wii and DS, maybe.
So there's Endless Ocean 2 Blue World.
Yeah. What was that for?
That was Wii, and then there's also Endless Ocean Dive Discover Dream, which was also Wii.
Oh, okay. So I guess they both were on the Wii then.
And I mean, they've got really good ratings. And Cryptic is saying, like, do you all understand the love for Endless Ocean? Like, for one more thing, I was surprised. Like, I think there may be things that aren't grabbing us, right? This direct, like, it seemed like a nostalgia pull for like the Star Wars games. For me, I'm like, yo, that's a no-brainer. I'll pick that up. Like, do I want it on the Switch? I don't know. When I could play it on Xbox, and it'd probably be a little bit smoother, but also just to have another Star Wars game. Like, if you search Star Wars on the eShop, there's 66 results that show up. I was like, that's a lot. Now some of them are just
if you search an H word on the eShop, there's 69 results. And I think that's hilarious.
Nice.
And most of them probably fit that description too.
But I love that. Like, I think Endless Ocean is going to be a pretty big deal for a lot. Like, Nintendo understands that the generation that grew up with the Wii is pretty passionate about Nintendo. Like, they are
30 players online. I thought it was 16. You're right, Brian. 30.
Oh, the Endless Ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're a passionate bunch for sure. And
but you're going to say they were super passionate about super casual games.
Well, I mean, you know, if they're not playing Fortnite or one of the, you know, something like that, I think they still have quite the Wii has quite the pull. I mean, the Wii music, all that kind of stuff. There's
people out there think Mario Kart Wii is the best Mario Kart out there, and they're just
absolutely wrong. You can't talk, like, I get nervous talking poorly about Mario Kart Wii on TikTok. I honestly get scared that I'll get doxxed and swatted. Like, it's like,
and that's my biggest blind spot in that franchise. And I even have 4 of those stupid plastic wheels.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm in the process in Club Nintendo in Japan had Mario, Metal Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, like all the different wheels, and I'm like, they gotta go in my shrine. So like, yeah, the rabbit hole I've fallen down with Mario Kart is gonna get expensive real quick. But no, I do think that there was just kind of like Penny and the breakaway or big breakaway. Again, I looked at it and I'm like, this is not like, I have too many first party games I have not completed yet that like it. But I hate that when I look at some of these games that I'm like, there's blood, sweat, and tears going into this. There's like, but I know my time and what I have time for, and I'm like, I can't just go and experiment or like try out some of these games that I mean, we all know I'm probably not gonna complete them, right? So, like, but having some jumping back into those classic Star Wars games, I played the heck out of those things. There's a nostalgia pull for me there. Like I'll do it again, especially because if they had said you get Battlefront but no online, no way. Like what's the point? Like there's you take online away from those games and it's like no. But there's a good chance I could show my boys that hey, these are coming out and they're gonna be like, yo, when are we jumping in? You know, because that was like they were playing that when they were like super young. Like that was their jam. So I did not have high expectations for this. I saw, some of the leakers were saying I was not happy with this direct, like they had already seen everything or knew everything. There were a few other games that caught my interest, like the unicorn game, and there was another like I think it was a tactics or RPG game. Like some of them, like that actually looks pretty cool. Like I love seeing like classic looking RPGs with like still with like some modern twists. Like Octopath has that, just that kind of unique graphics style and whatnot. And so it seemed like an overall good mix. I kind of expected to see more from Sega, right? Because like Crazy Taxi is, I guess, going to be a games as a service game coming out, and it's going to be like 100 players online, and you're like, it's like a battle royale is Crazy Taxi, and then there's another side. I just thought we'd see a little bit more from Sega, maybe. But overall, like I think I gave it like an 8.5. I thought it was I thought it was a good time. Like, and I think there's. It's a weird time when it's pre-console launch, and it's like the rumors are that the system got delayed because they want to have more stuff ready for the launch potentially. Again, what do we know is real and stuff, when it goes to like the entire Xbox community was losing their mind for 3 weeks because of rumors. And it's like, guys, go play the games instead of talking about them. Like, just go play Hell. Oh, never mind. You can't. But
everyone wants them to play Helldivers. Like,
you just brought a whole new level of hate from the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I just love seeing all the Starship Troopers videos on TikTok that they're incorporating into this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You got to get them samples, baby.
Glorious.
That's what it's all
about. No one's been using Mazzy Star, though. I'm a little mad about that. the fight scene music. Just me.
But
we got Pokemon. We got Pokemon Presents.
So do we? I guess that's what we're kind of transitioning to here in a little bit, right? Is what rumors have popped up on that? Is it black and white? It's Chibi
remakes of Black and White,
like Pearl.
Yeah, like Pearl.
I'm here for it.
Weren't people wanting the Let's Go style for that though?
I think people want anything other than Chibi.
Yeah.
Anything other than Chibi. Oh, yeah. People don't like that.
People do. BDSP. Well. People hate BDSP.
See, I'm never going to be a correct Pokemon fan. I will always be wrong. I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
I just thought those games were boring. Like the BDSP game, I think they were just boring.
What are you saying?
Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl.
Oh.
BDSP, not BDS. You could really screw something up there.
Please don't, because I was like,
I would play that Pokemon game.
I'm sure you would.
I hope they're like, we're not releasing any more games for the Switch because we actually need to make games that can run for the Switch too.
Yeah.
So we've talked with Monolith Soft, and they're going to come help us learn how to make a game.
So one of the things I've been doing recently is the Players Pulse, where we get hot takes, and I know there are some hot takes on this panel, and I'm honestly afraid to ask Brian because he's going to have some of the hottest takes of all. But
Everything should be on PC.
There it is. But when it comes to this next Switch, the Switch 2, like what would make you pull the trigger, or what do you think it needs to be, even if it's not good enough to make you pull the trigger because you're just going to play Halo?
So I'm actually I feel like they've done like a tick-tock methodology with all of their systems. So you had like the original Nintendo, right? That came out, played 2D games. It was super new for the time, right? Then Super Nintendo came out, and it was literally in the name a Super Nintendo. It played 2D, basically side scrollers with better graphics. Then you had the N64. They jumped into the 3D realm, and then the GameCube was just same thing. It was 3D games, but with better graphics. It was basically a Super N64. So now that we're Wii U, you got Switch. So Switch 2, I really do feel gaming is all pretty much standardized now for the most part, but it's just going to be like a super Switch. That's what I feel it's going to be. And I'm okay with that, but I almost hope that they don't make it backwards compatible. I know marketing wise, that's total suicide, but I would really like to see games that are like for a new system versus the whole hey, let's make a game and make it compatible with like the old system and the phones, and just because they never push the hardware of these systems. Maybe sometimes with one or two games, but I would really love to see, not just Nintendo, any console maker for that matter, make something that's just like, hey, look, here's the new hardware. Let's make stuff for this new hardware. Let's stop looking back. It's technology, right? Technology is supposed to be pushing forward at all times, not going backwards. Like if you're gonna make an old game, just make it a remake, with new graphics. If you're gonna do that, but then
they're doing plenty of that though.
Well, I know as we sat here and complained about all the remakes, right?
But we're also we're 3 years into this current gen cycle. And Johnny, I think, didn't you have stats for how many PlayStation games are actually PlayStation 5 exclusive?
There's 7 PlayStation 5 exclusives.
This is just this generation has not PlayStation 5 is 8K compatible, but first off, nobody has 8K TVs in their house. They're already talking about PlayStation being on the back half of its life, and games have not. It's hard to make a jump. I guess the biggest thing is it's we go straight from cutscene into gameplay and it's seamless, and that they're getting better about that. But I don't know, do we need a gimmick, or does it just need to be? Do we want parity with the other systems?
I think that's the thing. They do want to make, well, unless you're Sony and you only want to make games for Sony platforms, but everyone else wants to put all games everywhere, it seems like. And to do that, you have to have that parity, like you said. You can't just be here's our crazy controller. Well, it's well, then now it's got to be an exclusive game because nobody else has that controller. So, yeah, I feel like the controllers are kind of standardized, right? 2 joysticks, thumb buttons, or I should say thumb pads and stuff like that. And it's just I don't know. Nintendo's the king of that, though, so that's what scares me. I guess if they went totally off the rails and it links up with Elon's chip in your brain and that's how you play it, and it's just it's other than that, though, it's I don't know what you do with the Switch 2.
Don't you get me excited about those brain chips?
Yeah, that's the new Switch. But yeah, I mean, what do? Make it thinner?
No, you make it bigger. You go bigger. You have the regular Switch. The Switch Lite was a mistake. Nobody cared about that. You get those Hall Effect joysticks in the standard one. You get the Hall Effect joysticks in the bigger one. You go Super Nintendo Switch XL. You give it an 8-inch screen, OLED. You give it a chunky battery life. You make it as powerful as like a Series S or like a beefed up PS4 Pro. And you start to compete with some of these other games. You start to bring some of that console parity back to Nintendo when they were thirsty for keeping that market share. They've got a huge market share right now. Sony's failed on the PS5 for the sales that they've made. They're keeping up, I guess, with their PS4 like traction, but I mean they've got very little to offer this year, so I imagine their sales are probably going to drop. The 50 million that they have now are living off of second and third party content, and Xbox is already in third place, so it's not really they got to compete with that. They just got to stay ahead, and the best way to do that is to compete against the PC market right now, which has got Lenovo Go. You got like the Logitech G Cloud streaming platform covering that aspect of it. You got the Stream Deck OLED. Like, companies are starting to take a look at these handheld systems, and they're thinking, this is a great market to be in. It's free. There's no one here to compete against except Nintendo. Well, Nintendo's got the IP. They just need the hardware. So if they're going to make a Switch 2, go all out, baby. Make it big. Make it beefy. Get me interested in it. Get the 40-year-olds off the couch, walking around down to the laundromat to go play their Zeldas and their Pokemons and stuff.
Playing Halo Go.
I want to play Halo Go. That's what they should do. That's what the Switch should aspire to become, is something bigger than just what their current market is, because their market is starting to get a little bit of second cousin syndrome, and they just need to start like getting some other people into their group here. We need to start getting some fresh blood into the ecosystem.
We just got to wait like 10 years, right? And then Apple will be on Apple Vision 5 or 6, and we'll be living in Ready Player One at that point, right?
Yeah, but it'll cost $10 million because it's an Apple product. Josh knows about that.
It's okay. Minimum wage will go up to take care of that.
If that's the only thing you have to buy, though, like I'd drop the $3,500 if that was the only thing I had to buy and it played everything.
I mean, that's
what you're talking like if it was like Ready Player One?
Yeah.
Well, I think it cost $0.25, didn't it?
Well, it was free if you in Ready Player One, but they were also living in Dust Bowl times 2 or whatever.
It's also a fictional book, Brian. Jeez.
Yeah. It was free because that's how you went to school, right?
Like, yeah. I mean, yeah, like Logan said, Nintendo has the market share. They have, they're hot right now, right? So, I mean,
they outsold Sony in Japan for the first time in forever, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and then, throw some Xbox games on there, you're good to go.
They would have a free shot at this holiday if they released it this holiday. But they're not going to because they're dumb.
Are they dumb, or are they looking to capitalize on a slow season for 2025 with a big hit game that they know that if they just sit there and polish it the way they did Tears of the Kingdom, that it's going to get 9s and 10s out the gate?
It's like you said, there's no pressure. They have no competition. So
there's no pressure this year either. Like, Helldivers came out of nowhere. Rebirth comes out here next week. But Xbox doesn't really have anything on the horizon.
Whoa. Chill out. Chill out.
What's on the horizon for Xbox?
We have like 5 first-party titles coming out this year.
Avowed. That looks pretty good.
I think Xbox is in a good spot. I know people say that
I
like
guess
the Netflix of gaming, but I think they're more like the Blockbuster video of gaming, because
Hellblade 2.
You have to buy their games on other systems. You're still
Indiana
buying
Jones.
it from them.
Oh, Indiana Jones.
We got
is that
History
summer?
Untold's coming out? It's 2024 right now. Visions of Mana is coming out Game Pass day 1.
That's a Switch 2 game.
We got a ton.
And so PlayStation doesn't have any first party.
No.
No
They
didn't
announce that, right?
new or no existing.
No
first
announced
party.
first party.
and the stuff for multiplayer Last of Us got canceled.
I
Nintendo's
honestly think
just sitting
Sony
on
was.
Mario Kart.
I think Sony was banking on Last of Us as a games as a service. It's something that would like. I'm looking at Twitch right now based on viewership. From what I know, just based on like without looking anything up, the first, you guys aren't going to believe this, console exclusive game. It's Mario Golf Super Rush.
Who's playing it? There's probably one like
There's
big
one
streamer playing
person playing it that has 5,000 viewers.
Yeah.
Okay. But that's crazy. The next one, cheesy, is Splatoon 3.
Probably
it
because
should
it's
be,
side
because
order
it just
right
had
now.
DLC, but it's
Yeah.
still probably only like 2,000.
4,000. So,
Okay.
but I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I'm not. But then after that is Final Fantasy Rebirth, right? Which is is that PlayStation and PC?
No,
Or
just
it's
No, it's just
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
It's just PlayStation. So
Probably like in a year, maybe if it comes to PC.
Did Remake come out on PC?
I believe so. We have, or maybe some version. We have some version of the remake on there now. I just don't know exactly what we have.
my point is that when you look through this list, the majority of these games are Battle Pass games. You know, like, and
What's Helldivers
crazy,
at?
you know, the top of the list. What do you guys
Helldivers
think the
says
number
right
one
now,
game is?
68,
GTA.
Yeah,
68.7 thousand people are. Oh, that's following. 30.7 thousand people
Yep.
are watching Helldivers right now.
Grand Theft
And that
Auto
would
is
be
number
much
one.
higher if people could actually get in.
They just raised the server cap to 700,000,
And they're kicking.
Probably
AFK
still not
players.
enough. Probably still not enough.
I came home right at 5:30 my time, and I booted it up. I was gonna go upstairs and do some stuff, and I loaded right in. I didn't have any queue today when
The
I
game's
got
already dead because everybody's done with it.
Today was
I think the
first time I
splash
logged
screen
in.
changed though. Like there was the opening splash screen says Sony Studios now, and I don't think it did that before. So they changed the splash screen, and I think they added some AFK kicking, and it seems to be better.
But have you even seen the numbers of how many, like Nate put, nobody on PlayStation is playing Helldivers? Like the percentage of PlayStation owners playing Helldivers versus PC is like the numbers are crazy. Like from what I saw,
a lot of people are just moving away from console. Like
I think the difference is that PlayStation players aren't born and bred off of like multiplayer games the way like Xbox players are. So you're talking to like a completely foreign demographic when it comes to this kind of a thing. Like if this was a third person action adventure over the shoulder game on PlayStation like Final Fantasy is, I guarantee you those numbers are going to be way different compared to Helldivers. Steam sees all the awesomeness that is that, and Twitch streamers will jump on that immediately to be able to like say like this is a really fun game. So PlayStation fans are going to get into it once they realize like, oh, this is something I should be playing. But their whole like culture is such a different like beast to even like use Helldivers as a good way to gauge whether or not it's successful for PlayStation.
Well, if some of the soldiers were voiced by Nolan North and Troy Baker, they'd be all over it.
It's true. That's true.
Put Joel in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's gaming as a whole. Like, you know, Sony has come out and said that their game development's eating their lunch, right? Like it's the ROI isn't there for these single player games. I think Microsoft ends up winning in the long run because they're seeing that like the devs are going to make more money they're going to make plenty of money by being. And when I say the Netflix, Brian, like you were talking about a little bit, like I'm thinking Netflix when they put Blockbuster out of business kind of thing, right? Like when they were the only one, like, remember when we had to put the disc in the Wii to stream Netflix, and that was some of the first streaming that was available to anything, and like who didn't have or want Netflix at that time? It was like everybody wanted that. And Nintendo is almost like the anomaly right now because there's a lot of middle-aged gamers that are still keeping them going, and they've still done very well they're still doing very well with the younger market. Whereas PlayStation has kind of got like, they're almost kind of I don't want to say the word as everybody will take a drink, but it's kind of got niche, like the walking simulator, the very cinematic, and they're finding that the cost to do that is
well, yeah, if you only sell 10 million copies of Spider-Man 2 and you don't turn a profit or barely turn a profit on a $300 million production of a game, like that would easily sell on Steam, Xbox, and they would definitely make their money. But if it does come to PC, PlayStation fanboys lose their lunch and go kind of crazy,
lose their minds.
I think. Well, I think the issue here is that a lot of people have to try and feel like their investment in the consoles is important, right? Like when Xbox says that they're going to be bringing their content to other games or other consoles like Nintendo Switch, Xbox fanboys, we lose our mind because I don't care if people actually want to play Pentiment or Grounded on the Switch. That just means either more players for me or more people checking out a studio that Xbox owns, which means they'll probably be invested in the content, which means their games will probably sell better. For me, at least, it's all about, am I going to be losing hardware because they aren't justifying the reason why you should buy an Xbox by having exclusives? If that's the case, does that jeopardize the security of the digital library that I have, granted access to in the foreseeable future? In 3, am I going to miss out on some of the really cool features that hardware brings? The Switch brings fantastic features as far as like being able to pick up and move your console from one room to the next and just throw it in a dock and you immediately get it right then and there. Xbox has the ability to have some of the best cross save across their consoles. Like you just open up a game on one, you close it, you go over to your other room, you pick it back up, the save's already there. A lot better
than PlayStation, where you have to log into the games, upload it, download it, and I'll like to just play Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS5 version. I had to log back into PS4 version, upload the most recent save, log back into PS5 version, download the save, and then start. Like it. Yeah, but
PlayStation has like one of the most innovative like little techniques that are going on with their controller. They're the only ones that are investing heavily in VR. That's a console manufacturer. Looking at what Josh is talking about, the best way for Sony to address the fact that their games cost so much but are not raking in as much money as they need to change the scope of what those games are, shorten them, keep them at the price that they are, but just make more investments in there, and then bring their games out to other manufacturers to be able to have those games available to a broader audience. Especially with PC, you're talking like hundreds of millions of PCs possible to be able to have access to this game compared to the 50 million people on console. It just makes sense to try and pull in money that way, as opposed to like, okay, well, sorry guys, we're going to have to raise the price of games up to $80 to try and make up for it because not enough people bought the last generation of games.
Well, and the other factor, and I'm going to get a couple of these chats here, is like, Nate says, we see it all the time, Logan. Microsoft is always almost too forward thinking when it's scary for people. I see Sony following suit at a slower pace. Of course, Sony is starting to do PC like Microsoft did years ago. Right. Yep. But I think one of the disconnects for Sony, I think, is they lost the younger generation to a certain extent. I mean, Ratchet and Clank, but like when you think, like when any of us think about PlayStation at its origin,
Ape Escape.
Crash,
Sly Cooper.
right?
Yeah,
There's like
cartoony third-person adventure games
trying to take on Mario the same way Sega did, right? Like, but then now it's like you say PlayStation, you think Last of Us, you think Horizon, you like
God of War.
it's and they had a good mix for the longest time, but then that's why when I say they're niche, like obviously they're selling a ton of consoles and stuff. It's not, but like most Sony fans kind of like fall into a certain category of like, I'm gonna play these cinematic style games. There's not anything wrong with that, but Sony doesn't have a lot to fall back on as far as like, Nate said in the chat, Mario Wonder beats out Spider-Man. That's crazy. But again,
install base.
Well, install base, but even just nostalgia, right? I mean, Mario is going to move units because of the brand loyalty. And if you were on Twitter, you think, oh, well, Sony fans are that is such a small number of actual PlayStation owners.
Because what
right?
do they have? 32 million units?
50
like
now.
That? Is it 50? Okay.
Yeah, that's a massive number for the amount of people that are, on Twitter screaming into the void or whatever. Like it's and at the end of the day, I mean, if you guys go and watch, like if you got Paramount Plus or something, go watch Console Wars. Go read Console Wars. Like the suits and ties that are behind this trying to turn a profit. It's an entirely different world. Go on Netflix, watch The Toys That Made Us, and listen to the way that these suits and ties talk about like, yo, Transformers was nothing more than a commercial to sell toys to kids. Like that's like they weren't trying to tell stories to like move a generation. They were trying to move a product.
You didn't cry when Optimus Prime died?
Bro, I did.
You?
I did. I was next to my cool uncle and I was like, I can't shed a tear right now, but what is happening? My life is ending,
And suits and ties at WB are probably scratching their head going, what the hell? Why does Helldivers have all this success against our game that we spent 9 years developing and through hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever? People don't enjoy shooting the purple blobs. And
no, people don't like killing their heroes.
True.
Are we talking about the new Star Wars movies?
But like all these suits look at something, the video game space has gone from the 3-month turnaround that we had for ET, which was the downfall of video games. I think wasn't that game developed in like three months or something like that?
It was very short turnaround. Yes.
Yeah.
To now that it's what used to be a 3-year cycle for a Call of Duty to be decent, and it used to be 2, right? Yeah. They were doing every other year, and it was 2 different studios, and then it moved to 3 with support studios in play. And now we don't even know what the status of Perfect Dark is on a studio that they spun up from the beginning. But then you also, on the other hand, look at Kojima, and he probably had a loyal following that he was able to pull from Konami when he left and spun up a studio pretty quickly, and now is working on dropping his second game from that studio this year, with games 3 and 4 already loaded in the chamber, starting to work on them, and on different platforms too, and Death Stranding's already come out on PC and PlayStation, but like they're chasing trends that are well behind, and instead of suits directing what they think is appropriate use of funds to get higher return for shareholders, like let the creatives make what they want to make. And if they make a game that people resonate with, like an ODST style game that people just drop down, have fun with their friends, it doesn't matter if you die, you're having fun, you still get rewarded, and you're not having they're microtransactions in Helldivers, but it's not shoved down your throat. and they're not outrageously priced, and you can get a decent amount of the stuff that's you're paying for with in-game currency that you're earning. Just the market is so saturated right now. You can't chase all this stuff and try to get. Isn't there like $70 armor in Diablo?
That was a misnomer because it came with like $40 worth of currency.
I thought it was Fortnite that recently had like 25 or someone said something about how like the DLC is more expensive than the actual game. The DLC is
the turtles were kind of expensive. I mean,
what it was?
There's expensive skins in Fortnite, but like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, see, I think that's where Nintendo's unique in that they're not. Well, for one, like we were saying, they market towards. I guess I said it in the Discord the other day that like Kirby, it's for stupid weak babies. I misspoke.
Yes. Johnny
I misspoke.
Somebody agrees.
I misspoke. They're not stupid, but they market to the kids, right? So then, as you grow up, you like Josh said, you have nostalgia for this game. That's oh, I love Mario, I love Kirby, I guess, or I love Metroid. And then you grow up, and then a new one comes out, and you still want to play it. So you still want to be like a Nintendo fan. But like with PlayStation, it's like a lot of the fans that I knew for PlayStation, like they loved the football games, they loved a Call of Duty or something, but that's it. They weren't like Sony fanboys. So, but it's like you become a Sony fan when you're like in your 20s or something like that. So it's just if they're waiting around for people to fall in love with their product, it's too late. You've kind of lost to the Nintendo fanboys who have been there since day one, since they were little kids, and then they have kids and they want their kids to play those games. I'm looking at Crawler, and so it's just like it's a good repeating cycle for Nintendo, and they don't have to chase trends because they create just fun games. And they have shareholders that they have to answer to, yes, but I think it's kind of slightly different. They kind of have like it's like Japanese shareholders. They don't care about those trends like you guys were saying. It's like oh, there's a trend next week. Okay, cool. It's gonna be gone in a week. Whatever. We're gonna make what we make, and we're gonna market to who we market to, and it's a recipe that's been working since like 1985. So, yeah, they're in an amazing spot right now, and I don't know. I'm excited for the Switch 2, whatever that may hold.
I think Cheesy made a really good point earlier in the episode that kind of calls out about Nightcrawler's comment about why not let the creators create. One of the things that we brought up earlier is that no one really is too interested in new IP too often. Like it takes something very special for a new IP to really stick. I got to review Immortals of Avium last year. That game did not do well, but that was a really good game. And it was operating on Unreal 5. It was like cutting edge for that engine. And no one cared because it's a new IP and it came out during a time when Armored Core and a bunch of other games were coming out around the time that were more anticipated. And it's like, if you let the creators make it, that doesn't always guarantee that gamers are going to actually buy it because we are creatures of habit. It's why we have walls of nostalgia behind us that let us know, like, this is what is safe. This is what's good to buy into. And that's why we do it. That's why Nintendo has done so well. It's because they continue to dip into that well of, what do you know? You know Mario. You know Zelda. You know Metroid. Well, maybe not Star Fox, RIP. But those are the things that people want. So why not just give them that in slightly different flavors? Just add a little cilantro. Yeah.
Well, and Nate's talking about Titanfall 2. Like Titanfall 2 got sabotaged by EA
so hard.
So
many different angles.
But like as well, like I know the record industry has pushed like artists to create a song that is clippable or pushable on TikTok and the other short form content. I feel like Helldivers is memeable, and that's what got some traction for it. I mean, I know my TikTok feed is kind of just full of people. It helps that it's satirical against like
I think
Starship Troopers.
I think it's very self-aware, and that's been helping it. Like Suicide Squad was not self-aware. Like that was like, oh yeah, we got a superhero game that we actually kill the Justice League, and people are like, well, I don't want to play that.
And I think Josh posted a tweet, I think, in our Discord that was like, Pal World and Helldivers for the same price as Kill the Justice League, and it's like it's eating its lunch like handedly on Steam just with concurrent play. Like, Pal World is number 2 all time on concurrent players.
Well, they just said it was 25 million players. So it was like 15 million on Steam and then 10 on Xbox.
All time peak concurrent on Steam for Pal World is 2,101,867, and it's second behind PUBG.
That got they put guns in Pokemon hands, and like that's all they did. It wasn't.
And
I think Helldivers is a better.
Helldivers is at 20 right now on all time. It's number 2 currently right now with 362,000 people playing. But with if the server numbers had been able to capitalize this weekend, who knows where that would be on the list. But like, a fun experience outweighs just a manufactured, like, this is what you need. We're telling you what you need to play. Like, people aren't going to respond to that.
Yeah, I think fun and art direction, because you go for the best graphics in the world, and it's just like, well, 2 systems from now, those graphics are gonna look like garbage. It doesn't matter. I'll go back to some random game I was playing recently, like Wind Waker. How it's cartoony, and at the time I know it got slammed hard.
Mm-hmm.
But then now you look at it and you're like, dude, this still looks good. Like it just still looks good. It's because it was like the art style, the art direction. It stands the test of time. And then same thing with fun. Nate mentioned Titanfall 2. Up until recently, I was playing that game every day, and it's an old game. It's like, but it's just fun. It's I think it's built off the Steam, with the Half-Life 2 engine or something like that. Like, its graphics aren't the best, but it's and again, going back to like Nintendo, that's what Nintendo does, right? Fun, good art direction. Splatoon, I'll joke around all day about how Splatoon 2 is DLC for Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 3 is just DLC for Splatoon 2. But it's it's not the best graphics, but it's good art direction, and it's just fun to play. It's got that really fun like game loop. I can't wait.
It's got a Matrix simulator now. You're just living in the Matrix in Splatoon.
Side Order has cool. I like that aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's funny, like this Helldivers conversation. So many people are talking about ODST, right? And how Halo could have made something like this. Looking at Helldivers, I think Gears would be a great series for a game similar to that.
You're literally closing up bug holes, and that's like you close.
And they have a Hammer of Dawn too.
Yeah. So, and I know nothing. I've only seen a few clips here and there about Helldivers, right? But I also think Metroid could thrive in a world like this, where you build your own bounty hunter and play along with Samus as like an NPC, right? And do like strikes similar to Destiny,
Federation Force live action or live service.
I think,
but good. You know what I mean? Like,
so
I think they should put Metroid on other platforms. That should be the one.
Yes.
Yeah, that was something that we talked about on Communication Era this week. Is like, if there's any Nintendo IPs to go to other platforms, like maybe Metroid has a chance.
Put Samus's ship and Fox's ship, the R-Wing, in Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Oh
DLC.
my god, that's it. There it is.
Mm-hmm. But you won't be able to see it on Xbox.
But you'll know. You'll know.
You'll know. It says Samus's ship. You know it's Samus's ship.
No, I was gonna say, Josh, way back in the day, I remember, like, I don't know which podcast, but you talked about it, saying like, why isn't there like a Halo RPG, where you start off like as a space marine,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you become like an ODST, and then
Right.
you know, like you level up, you know, and become, you know, a Spartan. Maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but like I think that's something that could lend itself to the Metroid universe, because
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know, did she start off as this complete total BA?
That's what Other M
hunter?
is. Other M is like an origin story for her, I think.
Yeah, start off as a cadet, you know, work your way up.
Yeah.
Well, every game they strip you of your powers and you got to go find them again. So
Well, level 1 you'll have everything, and then you know you'll like hit your head against a wall, and then you gotta like start
Forget.
from
you
scratch.
know, like gotta bend down to get on your hands and knees to crawl under something, and then you're like,
Yeah. Well, that'll be
Your
fun.
blaster
Switch
arm
2,
falls
you'll
off.
have to flip the console and you'll bend down, like there'll be some type of motion control.
It's those risks that I would love to see Nintendo take with, you know, to see other hunters like, or other bounty hunters running around in a world like Helldivers. I think it would be amazing. Like at some point they're gonna have to dip their toes. Sony tried with Last of Us and Bungie shut it down, but like, and maybe it's going to be Mario Kart. Maybe that's the safer choice for them to, like, you know, put out the full game and then do a games as a service, you know, where there's a battle pass and you can keep unlocking. But like, and again, because I mean, you know, how's Helldivers doing over, you know, on the East? Is it, are they playing it over there? Is it as popular? Is it,
People aren't
you know,
playing PlayStation over there.
They aren't.
No.
Yeah. It's just it's a strange time for games. And it's just, if Nintendo is proving time and time again that like you can have, like they told their developers for Wonder, you have no time limit. Create, like it was like, create what you create and then we'll put it out. And even that was like, it was so good that we couldn't that we were like, we need more. You know, it was a regular sized Mario game, but we were like, can you double this, please? Like, can we get more of that? And I mean, and it goes down, and we won't unravel this mess of, but it's, I think the dopamine hits that we get from gaming, it's not the same as it used to be. And it has nothing to do with gaming. It has everything to do with things like TikTok and shorts and social media. And like, where do we, like, games used to be an event. We go to midnight releases and hang out with all the other people that were so excited to, like, you know, I talked to a guy today that he played this, I just closed Twitch. It just came out. It's something Epoch or something like that. Like,
oh yeah, the Diablo killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, last
He
Epoch.
he played it for 16 hours. I'm like, I can't think of the last time that like I was so stoked for a game that I like put 16 hours into it.
How old is this guy and how many kids does he have?
I mean, he's
64 and he's retired. You leave him alone.
No, he works at the UPS store and he's in his 40s and he loves Empire Strikes Back. So it was like, I was just like, you know, but we live in such a time now that it's like, there's no longer that excitement of like, I'm buying these complete in box old games, like opening them, taking the book out, like
reading the instruction guide on the way home. Yep.
Now it's just like, oh, I bought a couple of games. I might open them. They're in my collection now. Like it doesn't have the same, like, and what really was eye-opening for me is when I jumped into time trials with Mario Kart and I started like really racing my ghost. And I was like, yo, this feels like how gaming felt like back in the day, where I'm like, I'm really excited about what I'm doing right now and how I'm like I'm just losing myself. And, you know, even like watching my kids and stuff, like they're never bored. There's a video going viral right now about how people are never bored. They're never left just to themselves any longer. Like, and it was like those moments made the special times more special. And that's when, you know, and I think a lot of people are trying to get back to that. It's like, I want to feel that again. And it's like, I don't know that we ever really will.
I mean, I think there's still times where you're able to have those dopamine hits with gaming. I don't know if it's all like TikTok, and of course, everything is different just because it's the future versus the past. But even back then, gaming was still fairly new. So we were excited to learn more of how this game works, or like playing Wind Waker. I mean, that was amazing, you know, and now we kind of have all the same stuff. For me, like the Plucky Squire looks like a breath of fresh air because of all the new mechanics that they're going to have you playing in 2D and then jumping out into 3D and, you know, whatever else is involved in that game. I just think that for me right now, that's an early contender for game of the year. Even though we still haven't really seen that much of it, I just think it's really inventive. I think the Arranger game that they showed during the Direct, every time that you move, like the whole map that you're on, it's like a puzzle and it moves with it. So you have to figure out ways to move around the map so you're not running into certain things. So I think it's just that gaming, it's just kind of like we're just used to all the mechanics, and there's not a lot that's like new.
We could always change the color of like climbable rocks
to yellow.
Yeah,
To yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, from yellow.
Yellow.
Go to blue.
We're getting away from yellow. We're going pink.
Hey, there you go.
You got to deal
Make
with
them like
T-Mobile.
flash,
That
like
would be
lights
good.
flash.
Just make them red for all the red green colorblind people, and then they won't know
Yeah.
you can climb it.
To be honest, like
the hardest game ever.
I think even though we kind of talked about it a little bit, Endless Ocean may not be like the most riveting gameplay. Jeff Grubb had a tweet that really kind of sold me on it. And I think everybody's trying to get back to those Animal Crossing days, but he was like, Endless Ocean during the COVID days, that would have done so well. And like, I want to go back to that. So if it is,
You want to go back to COVID? Oh man!
If it is a relaxing
Animal
Put
Crossing.
that one.
I don't know. Can we throw Johnny out? I mean, it's been
Come on, you set it
long
up. You
enough.
set it up.
I want to pick up this chat from Sub Zippo. It says Nintendo has tried to cater to the short attention spans. Look at Power Moons and Odyssey and the shrines in the last two Zeldas. And I mean, that's a great point with the way those, you know, the way those games are played. Like they're kind of bite sized. You can pick them up, put them down. It's like they're kind of made for a mobile system in a way. And you know, I did those 4 stages, and now I have been doing nothing but shrines. And that's been super enjoyable. And like, you know, and I think, you know, as far as like the dopamine conversation and everything, I think for me, I kind of had a break, honestly, from gaming, and now it feels kind of fresh and like enjoyable again. And part of that break was just because I was just grinding so hard and working so many hours. But I think that break for me was good when it comes, because now I'm like, I want to play again. I want to just like relax and have fun with it. But it also just gets me thinking all the time. I'm like, how come I can't get as, and maybe it's because I'm not a kid anymore, you know, maybe, but I mean, but it was like that with everything as a kid, especially growing up in the 80s. It was like, you go to the movies, you go out to dinner. Those things were like, that was not something you did all that often. Yeah, those were definitely events. And so I don't know.
Well, I think as an adult, like those kind of moments for us now are things like going on vacations, having breaks off from work, you know, and it's no longer as simple to do that with games, because we've had so many experiences in games. So indies are really those little things that are kind of like, oh, they're doing something that is so outside of the box that only an indie could pull this off, because there's no way people are going to want to spend $70 on a mechanic that they can't comprehend, because I would argue that a large majority of gamers are just casual gamers that when they get home, they just want to decompress. They don't want to actually have to think about the game that they're playing. They just want to experience something that they feel like they have control over. And to Cheesy's point, something like Endless would do really well, because those are chat room games. Those are those ones where you get on with your friends, you all sit in just in a voice chat, and you just, decompress with them about what you're doing, and you're just looking for point A to point B to go do something or check something out and see if somebody found something fun. And that's something that I think could do really well for a Switch if you have friends come over with their Switch and you're all sitting in a room together, just kind of like saying, okay, well, let's go over to this coral reef. Let's go see if we can have some fun and see if we can stir up some trouble with some eels or something. See who we can get bitten, like those days when we were scared of the eel in Mario 64. Weird stuff like that.
And to that point, like, I think for me, the times that I get the most excited about gaming is when there's buzz from the community, right? And every, like, animal, like what Jeff said about Endless Ocean, when everyone was playing Animal Crossing, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
Like,
except for the airport stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. That was like, it was like, but I mean, when I would stream Animal Crossing, I set up a Switch Lite with a southern hemisphere, and people would just go and visit that constantly. And then I would just play and do my stuff on my island. But like, everybody was talking about it, like when Celeste got announced and then everybody was playing that. Like, that was there were certain moments throughout the Switch's life cycle where it was like certain games were kind of like pinnacle games that like everybody was talking about, everybody was excited about it. And that's where I think the disappointment comes from, like directs and whatnot, is when it's like, yeah, there's something kind of for everybody, but there's not that one thing for everyone, that everyone is like there's just a ton of buzz, like Helldivers right now is that game that's kind of buzzing, but not.
You don't think Star Wars will be that?
Star Wars?
Yeah, you don't think that the Battlefront collection will bring in people, considering it's all 3 platforms, all 4 platforms, if you want to get technical?
I think it'll bring in a niche, like a small
flash in the pan.
Like, yeah, I honestly think, like, Palworld, look at it. There's 7,000 people watching it on Twitch right now. Like, it came and went, right? Like, but that moment was still pretty cool. Helldivers, and I don't know how, like, the long tail on that game, but like
that they have.
We're only like 2 weeks in. We're only like
it's
2 weeks
very
in.
open ended what they can do, because there's a galactic map and you're fighting a war on 2 fronts, and it's the community as a whole for now. The community as a whole is contributing to the defense and the conquest of those 2 fronts, but there's a conquest icon on Super Earth, and there's also a north and south that we can have other factions come in, and there's lots, I think, that can come with that game.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, Josh. Like, we go from like flavor of the week to flavor of the week. Like, Palworld was the flavor of the week. Helldivers now the flavor of the week. And like, why not just enjoy them for when they're the flavor of the week? Like, Palworld was a blast to play when everybody was talking about it. Even Tears of the Kingdom with all the Korok stuff, like, that was hilarious for a couple weeks where everybody was like torturing Koroks.
Yeah.
And we'll see it throughout the year. Who knows what the next one's going to be? Probably Princess Peach's Showtime. Everybody's going to be playing it, and everybody's going to be.
I just connected the dots. People were the flavor of the week is torturing things. You got Koroks, you got pals, you got other Helldivers. You just need to find out what game is the game that you can go torture something, and then that will be the next flavor of the week.
Well, you got Animal Crossing where you're hitting people with a net.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Tears of the Kingdom was, I think, special for getting into the flavor. Not that it was special for getting. Everyone was going to kind of play it. It was what, 20 million, 18 million sold in that first like month, but a single player game to have memeable stuff like that's rarer. Like, it's usually dependent on goofing off with your buddies doing stupid stuff that kind of makes those memeable kind of instances.
Yeah, Crawler, you're right. I think if it's a memeable game, like, that will do well. Palworld was big memes. Let's just Pokemon guns.
But this is something that Johnny talked about this week on our show is that even though Power World, like I brought up the fact that Power World had so many players and that's what everybody was talking about, and now we don't really see anybody talking about it anymore. Johnny brought up the point that there are still people that are playing it and enjoying it, and that's what you're supposed to be doing with a game. Like
201,000 on Steam right now.
There's still people that are playing Animal Crossing. You know, those are the loyal fans that's their game. That's what they found. And just thinking about, you know, kind of what you were saying earlier, like if we could go back to when we were kids and we could just play that same game over and over again. Like I know for me, I played Mario Sunshine. I don't think I even beat it when I was younger, but I just loved the music. I loved the atmosphere. I would play the first couple of levels over and over, but I just thought it was a really unique game. And that was maybe nobody was playing it and or they learned how broken it was. But that was my game that I could escape to. And kind of what Logan was saying is like, we don't look for those escapes anymore because our escapes is like going on vacation or doing something that we haven't in a really long time. But when we were kids, you would just go into this other world and that was like your time away from school and your parents and whatever else you had going on.
Excised on YouTube said, you know, Nintendo has the power with their franchises. There's not as many third parties that have such prolonged fanfare for so many years after their games come out, and it's true. And I think looking back on the life of the Switch, Smash and the new character reveals that would constantly come out, it was buzz, right? I think it's more than just the having the games coming out, knowing what's coming out so that we can be playing them. But it was like, and again, it's going to be dependent on the community that you're involved in. We were heavily involved in the Smash community. So like that I doubled the size of my Discord with Smash Bros, you know? So like everybody was hyped when that stuff was happening. And that's it's those moments I think when I really think about it is what I'm missing right now with all these remakes and stuff is just that there's a bunch of different little pockets of excitement for different people for different games, but like we're not all talking about one
like,
particular game.
What do you do? I'm going to bring in movies here for a second, but like Disney just announced that they are releasing or they're making Zootopia 2, Toy Story 5, Frozen 3, and some other movies. And people are like, oh, why so many sequels? Where are the original movies? And it's like, they just had an original
Wish
movie.
Just flopped, didn't
Wish,
it?
and it flopped.
Yeah.
So like
the last 3 years was original and flop.
So what are you supposed to do? Like, how do you get people to love IPs? I love Splatoon, and it's crazy to think that next year it will be 10 years old, but that was an IP on the Wii U that somehow survived, and Nintendo took a chance on it, and it did really well. It's doing well in Japan. So it's like you still want them to dabble in the idea of making new IP, but you just have no idea if it's going to sell well. And I mean, I think Nintendo is probably the ones to do it, even though ARMS only sold like 3 million copies. I mean, that's still
sold more than Metroid.
2.5.
Yeah, that's still a pretty good number for a new IP. I think if they did like ARMS 2 and they gave it a story mode or whatever, maybe that would get more people excited. But I don't know.
I think Nintendo's really good at this next. There's a movie, I can't remember which one it is, but there's a scene between Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and one of them tells the other one, he's like, "You got to make the art flick, and then you got to make the blockbuster. The art flick, and then the blockbuster. You know, you got to alternate." And then one of them says, like, I forget which one it is, but he's like, "Yeah, which one was Reindeer Games?" So he's like, I told you not to bring that up. But no, Nintendo's really good about like the remaster and then the original IP, and then the sequel, and I mean they have a good split, and obviously not all of them take off like ARMS. You know, it's or but you got to do that, because if you never do that, then all we're gonna get is sequels, and then they will be stagnant, and then it's gonna be like, oh, what happened to Nintendo? Like, all they do is come out with a Mario game once a year now. It's stupid. Why buy a Switch?
And then they also sometimes squander the good faith that people had. Look at the sports titles that have come out on the Switch. That has taken whatever goodwill they had.
Pokemon games.
Well,
that's not made by Nintendo. Stop perpetuating that lie.
Whoa, Nintendo shill, calm down.
But yeah, I mean, we didn't get anything as good as what we had with Mario Golf on 3DS. Like, that was like, where is that quality?
I know the problem. I don't know with ARMS. Like, you can't Google it. You can't Google ARMS. Actually, you just Google ARMS.
Yeah, it's like on the 4th page. You can't. Yeah. No, I was gonna say is like, I don't think Nintendo's grasped. I don't know if Nintendo's quite grasped that live service thing, and that like with the sports titles, because we're so used to sports titles on other consoles, and it's like there's events, there's DLC or whatever. There's a new season comes out, so the player gets upgraded. I don't know. They just haven't figured that out yet. So it's kind of really hard to get a Nintendo sports game and go like, where's the updates? Where's the new golf courses? And Nintendo's like, put out a quality product. What more do you want? And it's like, you can do that with a Mario game. You can't do that with a sports game.
Yeah.
I still think that their live service game should be Star Fox. Just all of us flying around, just shooting down other ships. Like, I think that would be great for that series.
And then racing in the F-Zero races in our off time, because they're part of the same universe.
Yep.
I wanted to mention this earlier. We can kind of wrap up on this because we're almost at the 2-hour mark. But Mario had a movie come out, and then Mario games sold like crazy.
Yep.
Spider-Man came out, and that game was barely profitable, featuring the same main character. And I wonder if there's Sony execs that are like, what? Why did Mario
they're marketing it with Madam Web.
Doesn't it have like a 12 or something like that on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah,
if that.
Well, I mean, I think I was annoyed that they didn't release Mario Wonder earlier, like in the year. It should have been right next to the Mario movie.
Yeah, but they sold deluxe. Like the Mario U Deluxe went ham. Like, everybody bought that game. Apparently, it like just kept climbing the ranks of.
And how was the Donkey Kong Kingdom like tracks around in the movie? How was that not turned into a course for Mario Kart?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that'll be the next DLC.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think to that point, when was the last Mario movie? What, the John Leguizamo movie? Like, no.
Chris, are you talking before the Chris?
I'm talking before this one. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about this one. Like, no. Like, that's what I'm saying though. Like, so this one came out. It's more like the game. It's like more, you could say, true to the original.
Mm-hmm.
The Spider-Man stuff, like I think. I mean, how many Spider-Man movies are there? Like 1 million at this point.
Did we see this?
Oh, there was a Spider-Man movie. Oh, with Sonic.
Did we see like sales and for like Sonic Frontiers and Sonic All Stars and all that?
Those are always zero.
Did those get spiked at all? Like, was there one dude that was like, man, I really liked Jim Carrey. I think I'm gonna go check out these games.
The Shadow game coming. When is the Knuckles show?
The Knuckles show comes out in like April, and then I think the third Sonic movie comes out this year.
It comes out.
Sonic and Shadow come out in like autumn, I think is what they said. They didn't even give a date. They gave a season. And Shadow is teased at the end of the Sonic movie 2.
Yeah.
So maybe there's another teaser about Shadow in the Knuckles show that then leads into the movie, and that can.
Well, we also saw
they
it
can
like
ride that hype as well.
We also saw it do well with Last of Us. Like when Last of Us came out, I think the game shot up to like #1 on Amazon or something.
Well, we got Fallout coming out soon on Prime, and then they just had the
Borderlands.
trailer for Borderlands.
Sony squandered Twisted Metal.
Yeah,
That
There's
game's
supposed to be a Twisted Metal game coming out soon. I think that was a
well,
rumor.
and that show's sitting on the probably least liked or known streaming platform with Peacock.
Was it on Peacock or is it on Paramount?
It's on Peacock.
Halo's on
Peacock.
Paramount.
Halo's on Paramount.
I think Halo made
That
people
moved
return
games.
their Xboxes.
Yeah,
We don't-
they uninstalled
okay,
Infinite.
okay, we don't have to bring that up real quick. That's
I haven't
fine.
even started watching season 2 yet, but
It's
Do
not
we get
your
to
Halo
see his
then.
cheeks
That's what
again?
he
That's all
said.
I need to know. If his cheeks are in it, I'm watching. I'm down.
That's Master Cheeks to you.
All right, that's 2 hours. Season 7 starting off spicy. No, but seriously, Captain Logan, Brian, thank you guys so much for making a return. It was great chatting with you guys. Of course, Crawler, Cheesy, Johnny, good to see you as always. Guys, thank you for an amazing 7 years. Like I can't believe I'm even saying that. Like statistically, most podcasts last 3 episodes, and this is I think 760 is what this episode number actually is because of all the different bonus episodes that come out. So like, and
we do have some tentative plans for episode 500 later this year as well. So hopefully
do.
that comes to fruition.
we?
Yes, we
Johnny
do.
doesn't know, and that's
We'll tell
probably
you
better.
later, Johnny.
I'm like,
Johnny doesn't know.
I just can't believe you guys are going
Euro
to be.
trip.
I can't believe you guys are going to be kidnapping Reggie Fils-Aimé. That's just. I'm excited
wild.
for that.
That's bold.
Yeah, we're gonna
pretty
make
bold.
all those happy that Mother 3 didn't come to. They didn't have the English port of it, so that's our plan: is to kidnap Reggie and ask him why, and then make him do it.
I think there's guides to play through that, right? With the Japanese
I
up
think
on the
so.
screen.
Yeah.
well, there is an English translation out there.
Yeah, but you
No-
got to
no
go
one
have a
cares.
website open next to you as you're playing. Just learn Japanese, come on.
Just get on Babbel. Just
yep, there it is.
jump on Duolingo. You guys
Yeah.
real fans? Come on, go learn Japanese.
Right. Exactly. Well, seriously, guys, thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us live. If you're listening after the fact, we appreciate every one of you so much. Just so much gratitude, and so excited for what the year holds. So appreciate you guys, and we will see you all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.